Hello, I'm Dean McKnight, and welcome to another edition of Taking Back Our Neighborhoods, a community outreach program of Operation Our Town. We're joined today by some really special people who have a really special purpose in life. Our first guest is Mr. Richard Bishop. Richard, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me today.
And Richard, tell us what you do.
Well, I'm the director of the Northern Blair Rec Center. So we've starting to engage with a lot of youth. In the past, we've been more of an adult-oriented organization, but we're picking up heavily on our youth programming.
You know, you say Northern Blair, and it always sounds strange to me because we're in the habit of saying I'm going down to Tyrone, but Tyrone's actually north.
Yes.
And that includes, tell me about the service area that you incorporate.
Well, we really, obviously Tyrone would be part of our featured area, but we spread out our wings as much as we can. We're into Huntington, we're up the mountain.
Wow.
Clear up in through Annis Township. We bring Altoona. We even have people coming from Roaring Springs our direction. So we're really trying to spread out and cover as much for service as we can.
That's terrific. And now that you've spread out, who actually comes and participates in the program, and what do they do?
Well, whether we're talking about adults or youth, the youth programming, I'd say that the Tyrone and Bellwood are our true focus area. We've got a number of kids from even Williamsburg that are coming to use our facilities from that aspect as well.
Wow, from Williamsburg.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, and you know, it's got to be rewarding to see these kids come in and participate. Why do you think, now we're talking about summer programs here. What's difference between, like winter, I think about basketball, but kids play basketball all year round now.
Well, definitely they do. I mean, currently we've got over 250 kids just in our youth basketball program. We've got 26 teams, so we're from K through 6th grade. So we're definitely heavily into that in the wintertime. But as you say, the summer will be upon us before we know it. We'll be transitioning. We're already getting ready to start some baseball programs. We'll be starting our T-ball program, our girls softball program. So we're going to be moving in those directions very soon. But the basketball, as you say, is a year-round sport, and we'll still have our camps and a series of whole basketball that goes on, and we're about ready to start our next segment of basketball. So the 26 teams is about to wind down, and we'll be starting up with new.
Give me that number again, 260?
250 plus kids that are involved with 26 different teams, and that's just in the K through 6. That's not our junior high program or our adult programs. So I think we have like 42
teams. They ever looking
teams.
for a point guard?
So you still got it, huh?
No, I don't. Those kids would dribble me down the floor. Tell me about the ages. What are the ages of these programs?
Well, again, we do a lot of it by grade, but we've got preschool programs going on right now with like our Soccer Shots program, for example. That's kids that are really 5 and under. So a lot of motor skill development that goes on there. Our Kinder Sports program is another program that's 5 and under type, and we're working. A lot of people do hand-eye coordination. We're doing a lot of foot coordination because they got to get their feet under them before they can really get their hands working. So
now soccer's become a really big thing, hasn't it?
Bigger and bigger. We do it on the outside edge of it, just trying to fill in some of the gaps. AYSO in this area has been real strong, so we try not to tread in any of their waters. We work around that and try and fill in the voids, and so it's definitely a growing sport, and we've got some area that's part of our rec center and our fields that we're going to plan on developing to try and enhance those sports.
Now, I plead ignorance here. Where exactly is the rec center located in Tyrone?
We're just south of Del Grosso's Amusement Park, so right on Old 220.
So you're not in downtown Tyrone.
No. We sit between Tyrone and Bellwood, so we're kind of right in the middle of both of those townships.
That's terrific. And these programs, they must require some adult supervision. Sounds like you have some real help from the community.
Well, we rely obviously heavily on volunteer coaches. Those 26 teams, I have about 40-some volunteers that are all volunteer coaches that do that, and we do child act clearance and things like that to make sure we have good, safe coaches and put those people forward and do a little bit of training with them so that we're getting the right messages sent across. Obviously, with the Operation Our Town, one of the venues that we look at is keeping kids involved and keeping kids active. It's harder and harder to keep these kids engaged today. The kids want to play their video games, they want to do those things, and there's less interaction that goes on all the time. And the more interaction, the more activity that they can have where they're interacting, the better off they'll be.
Oh, Richard, and you're absolutely correct. Getting these kids to take the first step sometimes is the biggest challenge, isn't it?
Well, and that's why I'm talking about the preschool programs or the younger age programs, because the earlier we get them engaged, the parents are all behind them at those young ages. And as they get older, the parents' support tends to start to fall away a little bit. But if you've got these kids engaged and they want to do it at a young age, it's easier to maintain them and to keep them going throughout.
So you people in northern Blair County, if you haven't been participating in the northern Blair rec opportunities, you need to do that, because getting children involved early is the secret, right?
Yeah, obviously. That's, it goes on and on. Affordability seems to be an issue for us with a lot of the things that we're doing. So, we're constantly fundraising to keep our things going on. The Operation Our Town did supply us with a recent grant. And that grant has been put towards family fun nights, where we're again trying to do something with the younger kids in a family unit. So we've been presenting some what we call family fun nights, and bringing the kids in and providing an activity. We just most recently did a Frozen night. So the Frozen night was, we showed the Frozen movie, we had some crafts and some snacks and things like that. And we really impacted some families that wouldn't have been able to afford to bring those kids out for a whole entire night with their family. So
Operation Our Town's been a big part of your, or a part of your organization.
Yes, it's a new part. We're a first-time recipient, and it's been proved out to be a good partnership for us because of the activities that we're able to provide that we wouldn't have been able to afford to do otherwise.
It's a terrific organization, isn't it?
Yes.
The fact that so many of our members of our business community participate, and selflessly, they really, I'm sure the businesses are located wherever, but they don't care necessarily where the money goes as long as it's going to a good cause.
Yeah, I think just the development of that kind of programming it speaks volumes for what it's able to do down the road. It's the impact that it's having today, but it keeps the people in the right direction for tomorrow.
Richard, you mentioned fundraising. That's got to be a big challenge today.
It's always a challenge. The type of an organization that we're running, we are a nonprofit organization, so we rely on a lot of outside donors to keep things going, as well as the fundraising activities that we have. Pretty much every other month we've got to have some sort of an activity going on to be able to support our organization.
What's your best activity?
Our best activity right now, I'd have to say the youth basketball, because it's really strong with what's going on. The summertime programs are new programs. When I first started at the rec, we had very little going on for the youth in the summertime. So we're working hard to develop some new programming in those directions.
And there's got to be some rewards for you in this, seeing these young people develop and do things.
Well, I've always approached it since my days back in the YMCA as every day, if you can make a difference in one, then you're worth opening your doors that day. We try and affect as many as we can, but if we can impact one person a day, we've done our job.
Tell me about you. Do you have a family?
Oh, absolutely. I've become a grandfather in the last few years, so I'm getting to start the whole realm over. My kids are both grown, and
you look like you're 35, Richard.
A little bit older than that. We won't go there, but I'm definitely enjoying being a grandparent these days. So the kids are always good, but going in that direction makes it better and better.
That's terrific. People like yourself, basically almost a volunteer. to the community and the things you do to impact other people's families. That's a very special gift that you've been given, Richard, and thanks for sharing it with all of us and with the community. And once again, I'll say to you in northern Blair County, Tyrone, Bellwood, this is an organization that you need to participate in. If you don't have grandchildren, you don't have children, then you have some money. So send them a check. How's that sound?
That's always good.
Send them a check. Get involved somehow. Enjoy life and see what this is all about. Thank you very much, Richard. You're a good man. It's been my pleasure to talk to you. Thank you.
Thanks for having us today.
Thank you very much.
I appreciate it.
We'll be back in just a minute.
Most of the kids come from homes that are somewhat dysfunctional. A lot of times they don't have a parent at home that can help them with their homework. All they see is maybe the big brother who's been a drug addict. We have kids in the program actually whose parents have died from drug overdoses.
The human cost to our community is high. But drugs and crime also impact business.
Think about your own family. When my family goes out to shop and conduct commerce within the city or in the community in general, I think it's very, very important that we all have that peace of mind.
Now by Tim O'Brien, who represents the Young Life organization. Tim, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Dean. Thank you.
You got a big smile. You must be a great youth leader. Huh?
Well, I spent a lot of time around high school and junior high age kids and college age kids, so.
So you're crazy.
A little bit. Some would say, yes.
Yeah. That's wonderful.
Very good.
Tell me about Young Life.
Young Life is approximately 75 years old, and we're an international organization. It's an interdenominational Christian organization that has been here in central Pennsylvania. We just celebrated 40 years. And we are in 100 countries outside of the U.S., but we've been here for 40 years, working with teenagers and adolescents. And Young Life's mission is really about introducing adolescents to this person, Jesus Christ, and then helping them grow in their faith. And we do that through lots and lots of venues.
Tim, and I must tell you, I've heard some wonderful things about the organization and about the people you've helped. And that's got to be satisfying, isn't it?
It's very satisfying. And to see kids who come up through our program as early as middle school and junior high, to have them then becoming adults in the community and leaders with us is a fabulous, fabulous opportunity for us.
Now tell me, do you have a central location like the Northern Blair Recreation has a facility? Right. Where does Young Life meet, or how do they organize?
Well, Young Life is broken up. We kind of go by schools, so we'll have an Altoona presence, we'll have a Hollidaysburg presence, we'll have different schools that we're in. In the past, we've been in Tyrone, we've been in Central, and so we've gone to different places, and we don't have centers in those places because Young Life is very relationally driven, and so we don't have properties. We use people's homes. We use some of the great facilities that are in this town already when we need to have really, really big events. But our goal is to, we believe the greatest thing kids need today is someone to connect in their life, relationally connect in their life. So we spend hundreds and hundreds of hours connecting with kids in their world.
Now, Tim, if I were a young person in school and I said, I heard about Young Life, how do I get involved? How does a young person get involved with Young Life?
Right. The best thing we'd probably say to them is, hey, do you know so-and-so, or do you know this person or that person? We find out what grade they're in, and they say, oh, yeah, I know them. And say, well, you ought to talk to them, and I'll put a bug in their ear to make sure you come out and join us. And we run what we call Young Life clubs through the school year. Okay. We'll do it in the fall semester and then again in the spring semester. And those meetings happen in different people's homes. And here in Altoona, they have anywhere from 75 to 100 kids a week show up at someone's home, and they use garages, they use basements, and there's fun music and all those kinds of things. And so a kid can be invited to be a part of that. And there are other programs that if they want to get more involved, they can get more involved.
And what would do is activities? What would those activities that the young people would do?
Well, the Young Life clubs are just wild parties with a purpose is what we like to say. They are music, there's humor, there's jumping around, there's interaction, guys and gals, which they just love that. And then at the junior high level, we do a little bit more games and things of that sort. At the high school, it's a little bit more sophisticated, not too much more. And but just fun activities. And at the end of every one of our club meetings, one of the leaders who's invested in kids' lives shares why do they do what they do and talk a little bit about their faith. And they do that for about 10 minutes.
Wow.
But the rest of the time is just designed for kids to be kids and to start connecting with their friends in a different level.
And what age? Is this high school, junior high?
We have a program. Our program for junior high is called Wildlife. Pretty appropriate. And then our high school is just called Young Life. And then we have programs for, not locally, we're not running these currently, but we have nationally programs for kids with disabilities that we call Capernaum. And then we have also a program for teen moms called Young Lives. And then we have Young Life College for college-age kids. So there's 5 different programs that we move, and some communities have all of them and some have some of them.
Tim, that must be really rewarding to you personally. And I will tell you, sometimes I get disillusioned. I read the newspaper and I hear the stories about young people going wild and drugs and whatever, and then somebody holds the door open for my wife and I, and I think, now there's still hope for us out there.
There's definitely hope. Kids are, the world they live in is different. Their desires are the same. I think their desire to be connected, their desire to be a good person, I think that's still there. The world's different and things have changed, but they are looking to still serve, to still do those kinds of things. And we work with kids who, because we're a Christian organization, people think, oh, well, you work with Christian kids. About 80% of the kids that are involved with us have no church exposure. They're just kids. They're just kids who come to because of the relationships of adults that have invested a lot of hours to be their friends.
So this is more about the social activities, but the need for good friendship.
Absolutely, and we want to connect them to that, and then through that process, in a very in-your-face way, be able to share with them what the Christian faith is about, maybe in words that they've never heard or in a way that they've never heard it before. And if they want to respond to that, that's great, and we hope they do, and we hope they get plugged into a local church. But if they don't, we're still going to love them. We're still going to be involved in their lives.
Now tell me about your life. How did you get involved with Young Life?
I am a product of Young Life. In 1977, 78, I got involved for the first time, and over in Cleveland, Ohio, and got involved with Young Life. Came to a place where I got a little bit more serious about my faith. Was a Young Life volunteer leader all through college, and then moved here in 1985, and have been with Young Life pretty much since then.
That's terrific. Do you have a family?
I do. I have 2 daughters and a wife, and they're old now. They're 22 and 20, so...
Wait a minute.
They're old.
You
That's
look like
old.
you're
That's
35. Old, yeah. Something's wrong here. I'm the only one that's getting older. What's wrong with this picture?
No. Let's race. We'll find out how old we are.
Tell me about why you think... What's your relationship with Operation Our Town?
I have been friends with many of the people that are connected with Operation Our Town. We have never received funding from Operation Our Town because we've had such a great support base here locally, and that has helped us and enabled us to really not be in a position where we've had to ask for those funds. Things change, though. Economics change, and we are probably in the future going to ask them to be a part of some of the processes we do, some of the summer programs, some of the year-long programs that we do.
Now, the subject of drugs come up in your meetings, and how do you address that?
Well, absolutely. Kids are exposed to it daily at school, and that lifestyle. Our way of addressing it is that those are not things that are going to help them make the best decisions, and it's about making good decisions.
These are junior high, senior high, exposed to this every day.
Yes. It's not limited to just the high school. The junior high age kids are dealing with some of this exact same stuff. Maybe not to the intensity level, but they are experiencing it and hearing about it. And weekends happen, and things happen on weekends when kids are left alone. And it's a problem. And the kids that we know, that I've been personally involved with here in Altoona, Hollidaysburg, all around this area, are playing around with stuff that's incredibly dangerous. And I've seen it ruin lives, And I've seen kids turn around and do great things coming off of that, but I've also seen it ruin a lot of lives.
Do you get a sense when a young person comes in where they're at in life, whether they're at a point where they would be tempted to try something like that, or can you tell when you just meet them for the first time or second time?
Maybe, yeah. Through the development of a relationship, you absolutely get to know what they're part of, what their world's like, even when it comes to their dating world and to all those kinds of, it's all this, it's the whole person that we want to love and care for. And so our leaders are trained to invest and just spend time with these kids to get to know them. And as we see a kid who might be more at risk, we're going to try and give them opportunities to get deeper connected with good people, with good kids, other kids who are good kids who have made smart decisions. Those peers can make a huge difference.
Do you have any success stories at the top of your mind that you might be able to share with us without disclosing any names or anything?
Well,
I'm sure there's many of them.
There's so many, and some of the ones that, one of them that stands out is me, because I came through the program and it changed my life. But for the kids that we work with, there have been kids here in Altoona, a group of guys I can think of who I saw in their life just daily use of drugs, just relationships going amok. And we had an opportunity to, I've invested my life into them. They came into my home, they spent time with me, they went to our summer camps with us, and their life changed. And they are people in the community that I still see today. And now their lives are better, much better. You've
had an opportunity to reach out and change other lives.
Absolutely.
Tim, I will say to you the same thing I said to Richard. You're probably pretty close to a volunteer. Nobody in these organizations makes millions of dollars.
Not yet.
So there's got to be a personal reward to seeing these young people develop. Absolutely. You feel good about that?
I do, and I feel like my life purpose is bigger than just the dollar. It's bigger than just popularity. It is seeing lives change right before your eyes. I think we have kids who are floating down a pretty torrent river and pretty lost, and we have the opportunity to throw out a life jacket to them,
Tim,
and say, come on back.
Thank you. You're a good man. Welcome to our community. You're making a difference.
Well, thank you.
And I appreciate that. Thank you so much.
Appreciate it.
You're a good man.
Yep.
We'll be right back.
Operation Our Town's mission: facilitate partnerships between the community and business to fight drug use and crime through proven law enforcement, treatment, and prevention techniques.
The Gloria Gates Memorial Foundation, our main goal is to try to break the cycle of poverty. And in order to do that, we have to address the factors that are involved in poverty.
Because of strong financial support from area business and an energized effort from citizens in our community, Operation Our Town has made a positive impact in our neighborhoods.
I've seen the results. That just made it a no-brainer as far as me wanting to be involved and involving our business in it as well.
A lot has been accomplished, but is the fight over? Of course not.
If we didn't have an Operation Our Town, then some of these programs wouldn't exist. Really, it helps change some lives.
Welcome back. We're joined now by a wonderful young lady by the name of Kim Clemens. Kim, welcome to the show. And you represent the Ski Gap Community Action Council. My first question is, where's Ski Gap?
Ski Gap is actually a portion of Claysburg. It's 1 mile past Ziegler's, up on Ski Gap Road.
Okay.
So we're the southern tip of Blair County.
Southern tip of Blair County. And how big is your organization? What's going on down there?
Actually, our organization is very small. We just started back up probably in 2011. The Leadership Blair County class, was one of our projects. The community center was mainly just a building and a field. We actually built a ball field, a softball field, for others to use throughout the community. Right now it's being used by Claysburg Crush, also as a practice field for the Little League field. The coach is there. So we've come a long way. Our class actually put a heartbeat back into the center. So it grew since then, and ever since then that everything we do we take heart to, and we want to put everything back into it. And right now we're working on the structure, mainly the structure. Our next project was putting fence along the sides. It was a 300-foot ACA regulation size softball field that we put in with benches. the building, we made improvements to it as well. So after we put the fence along the sides, we decided we wanted to put a playground in. And that's another thing that Operation Our Town has helped us with. We raised actually $35,000. Playgrounds aren't cheap these days.
No.
And so we have a swing set, a seesaw, ball toss, and also a big playground structure with slides and other various activities. So we're excited to actually have the playground in place now since November. So it's a new thing.
That's wonderful. You've piqued my curiosity. So you remember the leadership Blair County class from the Chamber of Commerce. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yes. I was asked by my supervisors. I work at the Height Company, so this is not a full-time job.
Oh, you work at Height?
Yes. I'm the assistant controller at the Height Company. So they asked me to be part of leadership Blair County, and I thought, okay, I'll give it a try. So I did, and not knowing exactly what I'd be getting into. When the project came about, I wanted something for my community. I love Claysburg. I'm born and raised there, so I wanted to, and I was the only one that represented Claysburg in the class. So when I brought it about, you never know if they're going to pick your project or not. So it came about, and we went full force ahead. We learned tremendous amount of information through that whole process. Let alone the ball field. I mean, my kids even helped out. They raked, they threw rocks. We figured out what to do and how to get it done. So we're just excited that, for the future of the community center to see where it goes.
And this is wonderful. So you live in Claysburg. So this became the class project for the whole leadership Blair County class.
Yes.
And they all, wherever they lived, whatever, they all participated in making this happen. Folks, this is another terrific example of the interaction between our community groups. Chamber of Commerce puts something together, Operation Our Town supports it, everybody's working toward the same goal. This is a great place to live. We're so lucky to be here. And Claysburg's a pretty nice place, isn't it?
Yeah, we're a small town, so we always say we work harder because we're small. Fundraising is hard for us to do because we are a small organization, small town, so it takes really, we have to extend our hands to Blair County, upper, middle Blair County for fundraising. We do a lot of hoagie sales just to even make it by month to month. Nobody on the board or team takes a wage. It's all volunteer based. We're excited too. Here recently, actually in April, we'll have an adult teen Easter egg hunt. This is actually our 4th annual adult hunt. We charge $10 per person. We have 4 Disney tickets up for grabs already. So we're also looking for sponsors for that, any type of donations, gift certificates. And they come, and our next project, we're already once we do one, we're doing another. So we're want to build a pavilion on site so that, kids, because right now the building's being rented out for birthday parties, community events, such like that. The kids Easter egg hunt. The Claysburg Community Education Foundation is going to use the building as well.
Now, is there a director? Who organizes all this stuff? Do you do that?
I do the main part of the community events, the marketing, the grant writing. We do have a president and board in place behind the scenes. I'm more up front and going full force since the class started in 2011.
Well, congratulations to you. You're a true volunteer.
It does seem sometimes like a full-time job. It's well worth the effort. When I see kids come and they just using the playground since November, and obviously we haven't had the greatest weather yet, and just thanking you for your effort behind what you do. So it's a tremendous blessing to actually be able to make a difference in someone's lives.
Now, are there any activities at the building during the winter months? Gatherings for young people or something?
We just get rented out. It's a rental building for the winter months mainly. We're not structured enough yet to where we can have a full force with snow plowing costs and stuff like that associated. So mainly our activities are more towards summer. This summer, Operation Our Town did have us get a grant for the outdoor movie nights. So we're excited about that. We purchased the screen and the projector, so we just got to put that all together. We are looking for other sponsors. We would like to have a series, an outdoor movie series, and it's against drugs and crime. We want to get people off the streets and doing something. In Claysburg, obviously, we're far from Altoona. So there's not bowling alleys, there's not the movie theaters. You have to travel a good distance. So if there's something that the community can come together and form a bond, I think community bonds are tremendous, like the parent-child bond. When they have the adult teen Easter egg hunt, that bond that the teenagers and the adults, mother, child, come and they experience, that's the bond we want to grow as far as the community goes too.
Now, I hate to be too nosy here, but what does it cost to sponsor one of these movie nights?
It is roughly $250.
Okay.
That's the cost for the outdoor movie license. So that'll give us a movie for the night. So
Okay.
it's only $250. It could range anywhere between, if you have a certain movie, a new release, it could go up to $400.
Okay, so you hear that, folks? You could sponsor a night out in this Claysburg area. If you live in that southern part of Blair County, you might want to think about that. What a great use of your funding to help out. And how many people do you get to these movies?
Well, actually, this will be our first one coming up. And we
Okay.
expect probably about 100 people. So it's exciting. We don't know yet, and we're still in the preparation stage. So it's exciting to see where this will actually grow to.
So, folks, if you contribute to the movie, $250 to $400, at the end of the movie, you get to stand in front of the screen and go, "But that's all, folks." Is that what I get for my $250?
Yes, you could do
Okay.
that. That's for sure. We appreciate any support that we can get. It's an organization that funding is probably one of the key issues that we have. Fundraising takes up a lot of our time, and we don't have that ongoing. Right now, rentals and hoagie sales are our main source.
Nothing wrong with hoagie sales.
No, no.
Kim, I don't think about Claysburg as an area where they had problem with drugs. Tell me about the influence of your organization on the youth culture, and is there any problems with drugs?
Actually, Claysburg is probably one of the higher rate, I would believe, as far as I understand, that drugs are in. I would love to see more interaction from all of Blair County towards Claysburg, because we are such a distance away. It is an issue, so that's one we would like to address, and that's why we partner with Operation Our Town for the outdoor movie nights. 20 minutes before the movie, they're going to show a DVD about their involvement in the community.
Oh,
so it's a great aspect. More we get information out there, the more people will know what to do, where the resources are, so we can obviously curb crime and drug use.
Folks, Kim needs help. She's out there in southern Blair County, and she needs help, and she's doing a terrific job. Thank you so much,
Yes,
Kim. You're
thank you.
a wonderful young lady. It's so nice to talk to you.
Nice to talk to you
Welcome.
too.
We'll be right back.
Most of the kids come from homes that are somewhat dysfunctional. A lot of times they don't have a parent at home that can help them with their homework. All they see is maybe the big brother who's been a drug addict. We have kids in the program actually whose parents have died from drug overdoses.
The human cost to our community is high, but drugs and crime also impact business.
Think about your own family. When my family goes out to shop and conduct commerce within the city or in the community in general, I think it's very, very important that we all have that peace of mind.
Welcome back. We're joined now by two handsome gentlemen from the Blair County Youth League. We have on my left Greg Clark, or I'm sorry, on my right, Greg Clark, and on my left, John Frank. Welcome, guys.
Welcome.
It's good to have you here, two good-looking guys. So you're the Blair County Youth League, and you both look like you're 20 years old, so that's good representation. John, tell me about, what is the Blair County Youth League? Where did it come from? What's it do?
Dean, back in the late 1980s, I'm dating myself, back in the late 1980s, a group of service providers got together that served at-risk kids, and we thought about doing some alternative sports activities with kids. So each service provider created a team, and we started playing softball. That sort of grew into basketball in the fall, or basketball in the springtime, and then softball during the summertime. And what had happened is we found we had to reevaluate after a couple of years that the teams got very competitive, to the point where we had to start looking, this may be a little bit too unhealthy. So at this point now, we are just more of, in the springtime basketball, we do like an open gym with kids. And in the summertime, we do a softball activity where the kids get there, we sort of pick up teams, and we play from there. And the counselors and the service providers play right along with the kids, sort of as role models and mentors.
Okay. Now where is there? You said they get together.
It depends. Wherever we can get something. We play the softball typically at Valley View Park.
Okay.
We meet there twice a week. The building 2 has given us some free gym time. So kudos to Carl Bennett over at the building 2 to give us some free gym time. So that's where we have our open gym.
That's terrific. And Craig, tell me, who participates in these programs? Where do the young people, you said they were at risk, but is it open to anybody? Who are they? What are their age groups?
Usually, Youth League is geared towards kids that are 10 up to the age of 18. Different events that we offer family events and for younger siblings and so forth. The open gym would primarily be kids that range from 10 to 18, and they would be selected from anywhere in Blair County. We have different agencies that are working with youth that are at risk. They could be at risk for issues of placement, possibly outside of the home. They could be low-income families that just don't get alternative activities to participate in. Their social groups may be to where they're not participating in school activities, so they're would like to come. And like John said, it's a very non-competitive base of kids. So what we're looking at is activities that do not require a certain skill level. They do not have to make the team. Small success, they're playing volleyball and somebody hits the ball the wrong way, we all clap for success and it was a good try type of league.
Yeah.
So that's the way it is.
Motivational and staying with it. And,
yep.
And you guys have been involved with this program since the beginning?
Since the beginning, back in, I'm thinking about 1989 is when we got together and kicked off everything.
Tell me about your recognition of the need and how you guys deserve a pat in the back.
Well, thanks. I mean, it's just not only us, it's the other service providers too, but just to get the kids out and socializing and in activities, especially in the summertime, the softball, 2 days a week up at Valley View Park playing softball, it just gets them out of the house a little bit, away from the video games, away from the home environment that they may be having some rough times with mom and dad and stuff.
So you guys are true volunteers. You're not like the staff or anything.
We volunteer our time, but fortunately, over the years, some key people have stepped up that really enjoy running different activities, and they've kind of taken the lead with maybe we'll have some staff that are volunteers from different agencies that'll come, and they pretty much organize the softball. John and I did a lot of those things for probably a decade working with Youth League, and now we're more kind of setting back and helping make sure that we have the funding that we need for Youth League to continue. So we have a lot of young guys and girls that are out there working with the kids and carrying on the tradition.
That's wonderful. But what's your profession, Craig?
I'm a program director for a counseling agency, Family Intervention Crisis Services, out of Blair County. We work with pretty much kids of any age, 0 up to 18 years old, and their families.
So you were able to recognize this. You deal with it every day.
Definitely.
And John, how about you? What's your background?
I'm the deputy chief at the Juvenile Probation Office here in Blair County. Whoa. So a lot of kids that we serve, we have hooked up with service providers. So that's how we've gotten it all started.
So you guys had hands-on experience with this need. I'm overwhelmed. Thank you. Stepping forward, taking the bull. Now, tell me how Operation Our Town got involved with your organization, or how are they involved?
Well, a couple of years ago, we realized that we wanted to reach a larger population of youth and their families, and what was happening was there was so many different summer programs for treatment for kids that it kind of interfered with some of the time that we were able to pull kids into our activities. So we started to look at alternative times, like during the week, like maybe an evening where the kids were in a summer program, camp or something during the day. So we hooked up with Tickets for Kids out of Pittsburgh, which offer just a tremendous amount of support to low-income, at-risk families across the state. You don't have to be in Allegheny County. So we worked with them, and we became trained by them as to how to access the ability to go to these different events. So they give us free tickets for Pittsburgh Pirate Games, for the Pittsburgh Zoo, PPG Zoo and Aquarium. We're also looking into different shows. We want to get involved with the cultural district, like Benedum Theater and different things in Pittsburgh. And one of the requirements for Tickets for Kids was they were going to provide these 50 tickets for us, but we had to provide the transportation. Transportation costs to take everybody in a bus is extremely expensive. It's up to $1,000 a trip to Pittsburgh and back. So we teamed up with Operation Our Town, and they were more than gracious to help supply the funding for us to provide the transportation for these trips. So we already have 3 trips lined up for this summer. One is going to be a Pittsburgh Pirate Game, and one is going to be to the Zoo and Aquarium again. And then we're also going to, like I said, identify a show at the Benedum Theater to be able to take families to.
That's wonderful. John, you're in probation, and some of us, quite frankly, we get isolated from the day-to-day problems. This drug community is well established, and when you're a member of that community, you have resources and whatever, but it also leads to crime and some other things. Where we had a young man on here that said, at 7 years old, these kids are being approached about drugs. Yes. Tell us what's happening out there today.
It's the general public reads a lot of stuff in the paper, and sometimes that might be skewed a lot, but there is definitely a problem. I think it begins at the home with the parents, making sure they know who their kids' friends are, where they're at, know their kids' friends' parents as well, knowing where they're at. We're considered juvenile probation, but we are more social worker type. We want to get the family engaged, help the family, assist them. We always ask a family, how can we help you? And taking families, we've taken mom, dad, and a kid and 2 of their siblings to the Pirate Game. That was a good day out, exposing them to something that they're probably never going to do together as a family. And it's not like forcing them to go, but we took them, they had a great time, we fed them lunch, they seen a good Pirate Game, they won in extra innings, so that was even better.
Yeah. Pirates had a pretty good team lately.
Yes.
Reason to be supporters.
One of the nice things, Dean, about this is there's so many risk factors in these families, and what we're trying to do is create more protective factors, and with pro-social activities and with family involvement, we're really helping strengthen those bonds. And a lot of these families that we are taking are at-risk families. They've never been able to travel outside of Blair County. A lot of different things are very limited for them. So for them to be able to experience some of this stuff that our families would enjoy on a daily basis, or be able to go on a vacation or something. A lot of the families we're working with, this is their vacation. It's such a rewarding thing to be able to see them get excited to go to a ball game or to the zoo.
Oh, I say, and it must be personally rewarding. Do you have a family, Craig?
Yes. I have 3 lovely daughters and a wife of 23 years now.
and you told me your age, and I want the audience to see, because I don't believe you, but tell them how old you are.
I'll be 47 in May.
I hate that. I hate that. And John, how about you? Do you have a family?
I just want to add, he still acts like a teenager.
Yes, I do.
Good.
Yes, I have a wife of 25 years, and I have a son who's a freshman at St. Francis. So.
That's wonderful.
Yes.
My brother sent me a card many years ago, had a picture of a guy who looked like Joe DiMaggio in the front on a tricycle in a sandbox. I opened it up and it said, pick an age you like and stick with it. And I thought 15 was a great age, because you didn't have to put gas in the car, but you were old enough to know about girls. And so it was a great age. Tell me, what are the problems you guys face?
I think the biggest problem that we faced was fundraising. I mean, we all have full-time jobs, and to fundraise sort of like on the side has been difficult for us. We've done the hoagie sales, we've done the sheets coupons, we've done any fundraiser that you think of, we've done. And typically, we spend that money as soon as we get it, because we have activities like over Christmas time. We had a bowling part. We always have a bowling party down at Holiday Bowl, or down at the Blair, Pleasant Valley Recreation Center. So we spend that money as soon as it comes in. It's not like we have a cachet of money. So when we hooked up with Tickets for Kids, we needed that surplus of money that Operation Our Town has been gracious to us. So we have that transportation.
Plus, we then have a core group of volunteers that on top of that, we had some of this funding taken care of for the transportation. But now we needed to look at things like lunches for the families and different things. So we all chipped in together, and over the holidays, right before Christmas, we had a Stromboli sale with the help of Claysburg Pizza, and we raised over $800 from that. So we're always working and trying to find new ways to support the families in Blair County.
You know, my home was closer to the railroad tracks than the station growing up, okay? And my dad was a railroader, and they got laid off a lot, and we didn't have a lot of money. And I'm getting emotional just listening to you guys' story, because I know what it's like not to have any money in your pocket, and kids are talking about going here, going there, and you just can't go. You can't even say, I'd like to go, because you don't want to embarrass yourself. Oh, I don't want to go. Mm-hmm. And so these young people face a terrible challenge just to maintain their self-dignity, that they're equal to other people. And you guys are playing a terrific role in taking care of that. Are there any success stories that might come to your mind?
Oh, there's a lot of success stories, but I'll leave you with one that we both kind of remember that happened last summer. The bus driver who we contracted with to take us to the Pirate game, as he's driving into the city, John and I are looking at each other like, does he know where he's going? And the next thing we realized, he didn't know where he was going, and we were across the bridge and heading away from the stadium, which we thought at the time, oh no, this is disastrous, but it ended up being one of the neatest things, because as we drove back into the city across the bridge, those kids and families got to see that city, and they just lit up half the bus had never seen it before.
Isn't that
so
wonderful?
It's just a neat thing.
Isn't that wonderful?
Yeah.
The reward, the psychological rewards to you, and that's got to be terrific. What a wonderful life you guys have led. We're so lucky to have you in the community, and I appreciate it. You, you know, like I said, sometimes you wish you could save everybody, but you just, like you said, you save them one at a time. One at a time, and hope for the best. Craig, thank you so much. You're a wonderful human being. Appreciate your time. John, good luck. And when you get back out to the courthouse, would you expunge my juvenile record?
See what we can do.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, it's been a great program, and I hope you've appreciated it as much as I have. And I want you to think about what every guest has said. The need for participation and contributions. That's what our role is. Those of us that have had some success in life, or the children are going, you have an extra couple dollars. Doesn't have to be big money. It just has to be help. You know, they're selling Strombolis. You need to participate. Operation Our Town can facilitate it, but only you can make it work. Join us again for our next show, and I'm sure it'll be just as enlightening as this one was, with great guests. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
See you next show.